When I was in school, I couldn't wait for that final bell. Not just the bell for the end of the school day, but the last bell of the year. Because it meant freedom. Freedom from school, freedom from homework, freedom from sitting on those really hard chairs for hours on end. Freedom to go on vacation, to have fun, and to play all day. We all long for freedom. Here in the US, we often think about freedom in terms of our rights. But at any given time, there are thousands and thousands of people that are victims of human trafficking or are forced into particular kinds of labor. And there are many more who are literally in prison. And many of us experience other kinds of prisons, things like bitterness, rage, or depression and anxiety or other mental health conditions. All around us, individuals and whole groups of people lack freedom. The good news is Jesus came to set us free. The Bible teaches us that Jesus came to proclaim freedom for the prisoner and to set the oppressed free. But what does that mean? Captivity from what? Physical captivity, like in incarceration or human trafficking? Or mental, emotional, and spiritual captivity? Well, the message of Jesus is good news on both fronts. Let's start with the mental, emotional, and spiritual stuff. Throughout our lives, we all experience things that make us feel trapped. Whether we deal with anxiety and depression, anger or rage, jealousy, envy, insecurity, fear, bitterness, self-destructive habits and habits which harm others, or any number of other issues, it seems impossible to be truly free from the things that prevent us from thriving. And what's more, many of these things are passed down from generation to generation. All of this comes from our collective inability to love and accept love from God, and to love and accept love from one another. This is some of what the Bible calls sin. And sin, in all its forms and consequences, is like a chain around our necks, or like a cage around our lives. But the good news is, God invites us to turn to God and allow God to lift that burden from us. In 1 Peter 5:7, we read, "Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you." And in Romans chapter 6, verse 14, we read, "For sin shall not have dominion over you, for you are not under the law, but under grace." In other words, the hold that sin has over humanity is, well, it is our fault, and we don't deserve to have that burden lifted. Yet because of God's love, grace is offered to us. And when we accept it, we experience freedom. Now, on this side of heaven, we may still feel the consequences of our sin, but the Spirit of God gives us a foretaste of the everlasting freedom that is promised. The prophet Isaiah wrote, "The sovereign Lord will wipe away the tears from all faces. He will remove his people's disgrace from all the earth." Everything that has ensnared us will be removed. And that's not the end of the good news. When we experience freedom, we are invited to participate in spreading that freedom to others by drawing others into that liberating relationship with God, and by mobilizing us to both care for those around us and to stand against the forces of evil, oppression, and injustice, which perpetuate mental, emotional, and spiritual bondage, as well as physical, social, and economic captivity. When the people of God participate in the good news of freedom, it is indeed good news for us and for the whole world.